mission of making the biblical language relevant to pastoral ministries and to make it household language in the body of Christ. As a result of this vision, we have some goals we need to achieve. First of this goal is to produce a book on the biblical language. And the book has been produced on New Testament Greek, which is our first goal. And the title of the book is New Testament Greek Made Easy. We are looking for a way to simplify the biblical language in such a way that African students, African pastors can use the book to study the biblical language and easily understand what they are studying. And on that note, this book has been produced and simplified. Our second goal is to put the biblical language on media. In that, we produce VCDs, run the biblical language into VCDs. So the book that we produce, which is New Testament Greek Made Easy, is what we want to run on VCD. And that is what we are doing here. We are going to chapter 1 of the book. And we are starting with the book, the Greek alphabet. Greek alphabet. The first thing we are going to consider after Greek alphabet is characteristics of Greek alphabet. Number 1, the Greek alphabet consists of 24 letters. Number 2, the Greek alphabet has 17 consonants and 7 vowels. Number 3, the Greek alphabet has capital and small letters. Number 4, the Greek capital letters are called uncials, while the small letters are called cursive or running letters. Number 5, the Greek uncials are sparingly used, but the cursive ones are used more frequently. And we have 3 ways in which the uncial, which is the capital Greek letters, are used. 1, at the beginning of the paragraphs. 2, at the beginning of direct speech or quotations. Number 4, for the initial letter of proper nouns in Greek. The Greek alphabet will be treated by looking at the number, the form, the sound, and English equivalents. We have 8 on the board now, and we're going to go through the name, the form, the sound, and English equivalent. The first Greek letter is called alpha. Alpha. I will take the form. Let's say this is the line on your notes. This is how to write alpha. Alpha is always on the line. Alpha. Take it again. Alpha. Anything different from this form is not alpha. Now, alpha sounds as if you are pronouncing double R, as you pronounce the R in father. In other words, alpha sounds as R, then it's equivalent to English R. Alpha, R. The second Greek letter is called beta, and this is how to write beta. Your line again, and beta begins below the line, and it's taken off and it's done twice. Beta. This is exactly how to write beta. I tell it again. Beta. Anything different from this is not beta. And beta sounds as B. 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 Just as you pronounce the B in bad. And beta is equivalent to our English B. Beta. B. The third Greek letter is gamma. Gamma. And this is how to write gamma. Your line again. Gamma goes below the line. Gamma comes below the line, but the intercepting point is above the line. Let me take it again. Gamma. The intercepting point comes on the line or above the line. And gamma sounds as G. As you pronounce the G in good, gamma, G. And it's equivalent to our English G. Number 4 is called delta. Delta, this is how to write delta, your line again. Delta, you start delta from the end, and you turn it, and delta must be above the line, it must not come, no part of the delta comes below the line. Take it again, delta. And delta sounds as D, just as we pronounce the D in D, and it's equivalent to our English D. The next letter is called epsilon. Epsilon. And this is how to write epsilon. Your line again. Epsilon can be written in 2 ways. The first one, you can write epsilon this form, or you can write epsilon in this form. And epsilon sounds as as you pronounce the or the E in Metz. Sounds as and epsilon in Greek is church E vowel. That's why I put church in bracket in front of epsilon. The next letter is zeta. Zeta. This is how to write zeta. Your line again. Zeta. The tail of zeta comes below the line. Take it again. Delta. Zeta. The tail comes below the line. And it sounds as Z. As you pronounce the Z in zest. Zeta. Z. And it's equivalent to our English Z. The next one is eta. Eta, which is long E vowel. Your line again. This is how to write eta. Eta has a tail that comes below the line. Eta, anything different from this is not eta. Eta. The second line does not, the first line does not come below the line. But the second one comes below the line. And eta sounds as A as you pronounce the A in eight. Eta. And it's equivalent of our English E. Eta in Greek is long E. And that's why I put long in bracket in front of it. And we use this dash on top to separate eta in English from epsilon. The next one is theta. Your line again. To write theta is exactly how to write theta. Anything different from this is not theta. And theta sounds as just as to pronounce the TH in think. Theta sounds as and is equivalent to our English TH.
Ouch.
The next Greek letter is iota. Iota. Your line again. This is iota. Iota is always bent at the base, and there's no dot as we have in English. Iota. And the sound of iota is E, just as you pronounce the sound of E in it. E, iota. E, and it's equivalent to our English R. The next Greek letter is kappa. Kappa. Your line again. This is exactly how to write kappa. Exactly how to write kappa. Anything different from this is not kappa. Kappa sounds as K. As we pronounce the K in king. Kappa, K. Kappa, K. And it's equivalent to our English K. The next Greek letter is lambda. Lambda. In writing lambda, your line again. This is exactly how to write lambda. Anything different from this is not lambda. And lambda sounds as l. Just as you pronounce the L in long and it's equivalent to our English L. Lambda, l. The next Greek letter is mu. Mu. And this is how to write mu. Your line again. You begin writing mu from below the line. And you take it up and turn it. The second leg does not come below the line. It's on the line. This is exactly how to write mu. I take it again. Mu. Mu. And mu sounds as me. Just as you pronounce the L in mu. Me. And it's equivalent to our English L. The next Greek letter is nu. Nu. Your line again. This is exactly how to write nu. You will not lift your hand until you finish writing nu. You don't write nu as if you are writing HV. You will not lift your hand until you finish writing it. Anything different from this is not Greek nu. And nu sounds as ni, as you pronounce the L in nu. And it's equivalent to our English N. The next Greek letter is Z. Z. This is exactly how to write Z in Greek. The line again, Z. You turn Z twice before the tail will come below the line. It's almost equivalent to zeta, but zeta is done once, while Z is done twice. I take it again, Z. And the tail will come below the line. Z sounds as Z. As you pronounce Z in Zelo, sounds as Z. And it's equivalent to our English X. The next Greek letter is Omicron. Omicron. Your line again. Omicron. This is exactly how to write Omicron. Omicron. And Omicron sounds as O, as you pronounce the O in rocks. Omicron. Omicron. O. And it's equivalent to our English O. But this Omicron is short O in Greek. The next letter is Pa or P. Pa. In English pronunciation and P in Greek pronunciation. And this is how to write it. Your line again. Pa. Pa. Anything different from this is not pa. This is exactly how to write pa. There's no gap between the two vertical lines and then the horizontal one. The horizontal line must rest on the two vertical lines. I take that again. Pa. So pi sounds as P, as you pronounce the P in pot. Pa, P, pa, P, and it's equivalent to our English P. The next Greek letter is rho. Rho, and this is exactly how to write rho. Your line again. Rho begins below the line and is spun once. Rho, I take it again. Rho. Rho stands as r, as you pronounce the R in rocks. Rho, and it's equivalent to our English R. The next Greek letter is sigma. Sigma. This is exactly how to write sigma in Greek. Sigma has two forms. The first form is this one, while the second form is this. The first form appears at the beginning of a word or in the middle of a word, while the second one appears as at the end of a word, as the last letter of a word. Sigma sounds as S, just as we pronounce the C in sin, sigma, and it's equivalent to our English S. The next Greek letter is tau. How. Your line again, and this is exactly how to write how. Exactly how to write how. It's like you are writing English capital T, but it's small, in shape. Tau. That's exactly how to write tau. And tau sounds as T. As you pronounce the T in ter, sounds as T. T. Tau. T. And it's equivalent to English T. The next Greek letter is upsilon. 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 Your line again, and this is how to write upsilon. This is exactly how to write upsilon. There's no vertical stroke by the side of the upsilon. And upsilon sounds as oo, just as we pronounce the double O in two, sounds as oo, oo, and it's equivalent to English U. The next Greek letter is far, far, far. The line again, this is exactly how to write far. The vertical line will come below the line, far. Take it again. Anything different from this is not far. And far stands as P. P. As you pronounce the PH in phase. P. Phase. P. Phase. And it's equivalent to our English PH or F. P. Far. The next Greek letter is ka. Ka. And in writing ka, your line again. Ka. The 2 days of ka comes below the line, but the intercepting point must be above the line. Ka is not English X because the 2 days come below the line. Ka. And ka sounds as ki. As you pronounce the CH in Christ. Ki. Christ. Ki. Christ. And it's equivalent to English CH. The next Greek letter is psa. Psa. And in writing psa, your line again. Psa. This is exactly how to write psa. The vertical line must come below the line. Psa. And psa sounds as ps. 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 Just as we pronounce the VS in laps. Ps. Psa. Ps. And it's equivalent to English PS. The last Greek letter is called omega. Omega. And your line again. This is exactly how to write omega. 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 This is exactly how to write omega. Don't write omega as if you are writing English W. This is omega. And omega sounds as O. O as you pronounce the O in O. And it's equivalent to our English O. But omega is long Greek O. While omicron is short one, and that's why I put long in front of omega to show that it is long Greek O. We are through with the alphabet, but take note of this. Each letter sounds, each letter in Greek sounds like the first letter of the name. The first letter of the name. For instance, we have alpha, and the sound is A. Beta, and the sound is B. So take note of this and use it to master the sound of each of the letters. This is another way of knowing the sounds of the Greek letters. The sound of each letter is the sound of the first letter of the name. So take note of that. In the textbook, under the form, the initials, that is capital letters, come first. Then the cursives, which is the small letters, so that when you are using the textbook, you should know that the first group of letters that came first, they are capital letters, the child letters, and then the second one are cursive letters or small letters. So take note of that in the textbook. Now we come to tips to memorize the Greek alphabets. The first one, pick the Greek letters 4 by 4 and memorize them. Don't just memorize all at once, pick them 4 by 4. The second one, memorize the name. Make sure you memorize the name. Alpha, memorize the 4. Memorize the sound, A, and then you memorize the English equivalent. It's equivalent of English, A. Number 3, while memorizing them, make sure that you vocalize aloud the name and the sound of the Greek letters while you are memorizing them. Very, very important. As we mention the name, make sure that you pronounce as well or produce as well the sound of that letter. This will help to get these letters into your memory fast and easily. Number 4, after memorizing the first 4 letters, practice writing them down before you pick the next 4. When you finish memorizing the first 4, practice to write them down before you pick the next 4. This is important because what you write sticks better to the brain. So make sure that you write them down before you pick the next 4. Number 5, after the final memorization, test yourself by writing down all the Greek alphabets without looking at your notes to test your assimilation and your retention. Very, very important. Number 6, be sure you are faithful to yourself in doing this exercise. Be sure that you are faithful if you want to really get the Greek alphabets to your memory. Number 7, which is the last one, maintain constant and continuous memorization until you can't easily forget them. Constant and continuous memorization until you cannot easily forget them, until you finish mastering them. Because if you do not do that, you can easily forget them. Consonants and vowels. Generally, the alphabet of any language is divided into consonants and vowels. The Greek alphabet is divided into consonants and vowels as well. Consonants are sounds that are produced while the head space or the mouth is closed. On the other hand, vowels are produced when the head space or mouth is closed. In word formation and pronunciation, vowels are very, very important. Without vowels, a group of consonants written together will not form a word and will be difficult to produce. Therefore, they must contain at least a vowel in order to produce them as a word. Consequently, without vowels, consonants cannot be produced or pronounced together in words. In fact, in pronunciation, vowels bring out the sounds of the consonants when words are produced. So in Greek, we're going to look at Greek vowels first. Greek vowels. Greek vowels are 7 in number. 7 in number. They are 1. Alpha. Alpha. So we are taking the form again here to show how alpha is being written, because now we are considering them here again. This is alpha. It must be on the line. Alpha is the first vowel. It must be on the line. I take it again. It must. And alpha sounds as the first vowel in Greek. The second vowel in Greek is called epsilon. Epsilon. The line again. Epsilon can be written thus. Can be written this way. Epsilon. Epsilon. And epsilon stands as is short E vowel. in Greek. The next one is eta, and this is how to write eta. Eta. Take it again. Eta. Eta is the long or long E vowel, not short. Long E vowel. And eta sounds as A, just as you pronounce the A in eight. Eta. The next Greek vowel is iota. Iota. And this is how to write iota. It's always followed by the base. And there's no dot on top. So iota sounds as iota. Sounds as E. The next Greek vowel is omicron. Omicron. And this is how to write omicron again. Omicron. Omicron. Omicron sounds as O, and is third O vowel in Greek. Omicron. The number 6 Greek vowel is upsilon, and this is how to write upsilon. 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 There's no vertical stroke by the side, and upsilon sounds as U, just as we pronounce the double O in two. U. Then the last Greek vowel is called omega, and this is how to write omega in line again. Omega. Omega. Omega sounds as O, and it's long O vowel, and that's why that is on top too. In English equivalent, that it is omega, long O vowel. And that's why I put long here to show that omega is long, and short here to show that omicron is short. Now coming to the pronunciation or the production of the vowels, I've divided them into short and long. Alpha can be short and can be long in Greek. If it is short, the same form, they have the same form, and even the same pronunciation. So alpha sounds as we pronounce the R in father. As we pronounce the R in father. Then the long one, just as we pronounce the R in father as well. Then we'll come to E vowel. The E vowel, the short one, which is epsilon, sounds as in bed. While the long one is eta, and eta sounds as A, as you pronounce the A in 8. Coming to the next one, which is I vowel, is iota, and iota can be short and can as well be long. If it is short, it sounds like E, as you pronounce the E in pit. E, pit. E, pit. Then if it is long, it's pronounced as E, as you pronounce the I in machine. Machine, the I in machine is lengthened, is long. Machine, machine. So if iota is long, it stands as E. Then if it is short, it stands as E. Then we come to the O vowel. We have long and short. The short one is called omicron, and it sounds as O, as you pronounce the O in hot. While the long one, omega, sounds as O, as you pronounce the O in hope. Then the last group is U vowel. We have long one, we have short one. Written the same way, but they are not pronounced the same. The short one is pronounced as U, as you pronounce the U in put. Put. While the long one is pronounced as U, as you pronounce the U in flute. Flute, very, very long. Greek consonants. Greek consonants are 17 letters, and they are classified into 6 classes. The first one is labial consonants. Labial consonants. Labial consonants are consonants that are produced with the two lips. They are, the first one is beta. Beta. And this is how to write beta again. Start below the line and turn it towards beta. Beta sounds as B. B. The second one is pa. Pa. And this is how to write pa again. We've gone through that during the time we are considering the alphabet. Pa. Anything different from this is not pa. And it sounds as B. P. The next one is fa. Fa. This is how to write fa. The vertical stroke must come below the line. Fa. Fa. And sounds as P. Then we'll come to the last one. A labial consonant, which is psa. Psa. Draw the line again, and we have vertical line coming below the line. Vertical stroke coming below the line. So this is psa, and it sounds as ps. 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 So these are called labial consonants. While pronouncing these consonants, the two leaves must come together. The next one is guttural consonants. Guttural consonants are consonants produced from the back of the mouth or from the throat. They are produced from the back of the mouth or from the throat. These are, the first one is gamma. Gamma. And this is how to write gamma again. Gamma. Comes below the line, and the J comes below the line, but the accepting point is above the line. And gamma sounds as G. G. The second one is kappa, and this is how to write kappa. Kappa. Anything different from this is not kappa, and kappa sounds as K. K. The last one in guttural consonant is called ka. 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 This is how to write ka. Ka. The two tails will come below the line, but the intercepting point will be above the line. Ka. And ka sounds as K. K. It's harder than kappa. Kappa sounds as K. And ka sounds as K. K. The difference is the hardness pronounced in ka. So we have three guttural consonants: gamma, kappa, and ka. We are going to the next group. The next group is dental consonants. Dental consonants. They are consonants produced with the tongue and the teeth. Consonants produced with the tongue and the teeth. They are, the first one is called delta. 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 This is how to write delta again. Delta. And delta sounds as D. Delta. D. The next one is theta. Theta. And this is how to write theta. Theta. And theta sounds as if you are pronouncing the TH in think. The next one is tau. Tau, the line again. And this is how to write tau. Tau. And tau sounds as if you are pronouncing the T in ter. So dental consonants are three in number: delta, theta, and tau. The fourth group, we have iscid consonants. Iscid consonants are consonants that are produced with the tongue at the back of the teeth. They are, the first one is zeta, and this is how to write zeta. Zeta. The tail comes below the line, and zeta sounds as Z. 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 Then the second one is Z. Z as a consonant, hissing consonant. And this is how to write Z. It's turned twice, and the tail comes below the line and starts as Z, Z, Z. Then the last one in hissing consonant is sigma. Sigma has two forms. The first form appears at the beginning of a word or in the middle of a word, while the second form appears as the last letter in a word. If sigma is the last letter in a word, the second form is used. And sigma sounds as S, S, S. The next group of consonants is nasal consonants. Nasal consonants. They are consonants that are produced through the nose. Consonants that are produced through the nose are called nasal consonants. There are two. They are one, moo, moo. The line again, the writing moo, start below the line. And the second level will be above the line, will not come below the line. This is exactly how to write moo. And moo sounds as me. Me. The second one is nu. Nu. Your line again. And this is how to write nu. You will not lift your hand until you finish writing nu. And nu sounds as me. Me. So the nasal consonants are two. Mu and nu. The last one, the last classification is called liquid consonants. Liquid consonants. These are consonants that are produced with the tip of the tongue either firmly or lightly rolled against the alveolar ridge. Take that again. Liquid consonants are consonants that are produced with the tip of the tongue either firmly pressed or lightly rolled against the alveolar ridge. And the alveolar ridge is our teeth gum. These are lambda. The first one is lambda. And this is how to write lambda. Your line again. Lambda. And lambda sounds as L. L. The second one is rho. The second one is rho. Your line again. And this is how to write rho. You begin below the line. I turn it once. Rho. Rho sounds as breathe. So the last classification of consonant is liquid consonants. And we have two liquid consonants, lambda and rho. At this point, we come to the end of chapter 1. So make sure that you study hard to master everything in chapter 1 before you go to chapter 2. Come to the chapter 2 of the book. We are beginning with diphthongs. Diphthongs. Usually, a consonant or two are combined with a vowel to produce a unique sound. The combination of two vowels that produces a unique sound is called diphthong in any language. These two vowels produce a complex vowel sound, and they are referred to as diphthong. In Greek, you cannot just say that two vowels that appear together are diphthong. In identifying Greek diphthong, two vowels are very important. These are iota, that sounds as E, and upsilon, that sounds as U. These vowels are called I vowels because while producing them, the tongue moves closer to the roof of the mouth. And they are very, very important in identifying Greek diphthongs. Rules for identifying Greek diphthongs. 1. A diphthong must contain a high vowel. That is, a diphthong must contain either iota, or upsilon. Number 2, the high vowel must be second in position. That high vowel, either iota or upsilon, must be second in position. Number 3, anything void of these rules will have a situation of 2 separate vowels, not a diphthong. Then let's look at some examples. The first example we have alpha and epsilon. There's no high vowel there. As a result of that, we have the situation of 2 separate vowels. The second example, we have iota and alpha. We have high vowel there, but the high vowel is first in position. And the second rule of identified Greek diphthong says that the high vowel must be second in position. So because the high vowel, iota, is first in position, then we have 2 separate vowels. And the last one, we have alpha and iota. The iota is the high vowel and is in the second position. And therefore, we have the situation of a diphthong. So we have alpha, iota, since the iota is in the second position, and that is a diphthong. In Greek, diphthongs are divided into 2. Diphthongs made with iota and diphthongs made with upsilon. So we will consider the first one, which is diphthongs made with iota and their pronunciations, how they are pronounced. Under this, we have the first one, which is alpha and iota coming together, and this is produced as I, as we produce the I in Thailand. I, alpha and iota as a diphthong sounds as I, a unique sound. I. Then the second one is epsilon iota, and it sounds as A, as we pronounce the A in AIDS. A. The third one is omicron iota, and it's produced as oil, as we produce the OI in oil. 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 Then we have the last one there, upsilon and iota. It's produced as UI, as we produce that in queen. Upsilon iota is produced as a diphthong. It's produced as UI. UI as a diphthong in Greek. Then we have long vowels. Long vowels like omega, eta, and long alpha. In the combination of diphthong, the iota is not written by their side as we have here. The reason is that they are long vowels already. Long O vowel, long E vowel, long R vowel. So the Greek people do not allow the iota to be by their side. The reason is that they are long. If the iota is by their side, then it will be double long. So the iota is written under them as a subscript. It's written under them as a subscript. And that's what we have here, iota subscript. So this sign is the iota, and it's written as subscript under the long vowels. That means that this is a diphthong, this is also a diphthong, this is also a diphthong. Now, this iota subscript is not being pronounced, but it must be there. In writing, you have to write it under these long vowels because they are diphthongs. Even though they are not, it's not being pronounced with them. It must be under. Very, very important, because if the iota subscript is not under these vowels, or if they do not carry iota subscript, it means that it's not diphthong.
Action.
The second set of diphthongs made with upsilon and their pronunciations. The first one is alpha upsilon and is produced as how, as we pronounce the OW in cow, 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 how. The second one is epsilon upsilon, eta upsilon. Epsilon is the short E vowel, while eta is the long E vowel. And they are both produced as ew, as in field, ew. So the sound of these two diphthongs is ew. The last one is omicron upsilon, and is produced oo, as in soothe, oo. Omicron upsilon is produced as oo, as we produce the OU in SU. These are diphthongs made with upsilon, and diphthongs made with upsilon are 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Diphthongs made with iota are 7 in number. So when we count them, we have diphthongs to be 11 diphthongs. In Greek, we have 11 diphthongs in Greek. Generally, diphthongs are usually long, except final R and final OI. In other words, when I as a diphthong and OI as a diphthong are final letters in a word, they are considered to be short. Whenever these diphthongs are the last letter sound of any word, they are short, not long. For example, high in phonetics is final and is short. But high in phonetics, this is phonetics. Why this is phonetics? So I in phonetics is not final. As a result of that, is long. So when I or I is final in a particular word, final sound in a word is considered to be short, not long. But if they are not final, they are considered to be long. From here we go to sound production. Sound production. In sound production, each of the consonants is combined with each of the vowels. The combination of a consonant and a vowel represents a unit sound. Therefore, it is necessary for one to master the production of these combinations in order to master producing letters as sounds in Greek. This will invariably lead to the ability to produce Greek words. We shall take a few examples here. Here we have 5 consonants: beta, gamma, delta, zeta, and theta. They are 5. And we have the combination of vowels: alpha, epsilon, eta, iota, omicron, upsilon, omega. And we have the combination of these 3 diphthongs. We have I, A, and O. We are going to go through the pronunciation one by one. We take beta first. Here we have ba, be, 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 bo, boo, bo, by, be, boy. This should be practiced very well for mastering before going to the second one. We're going to the second one here. We have gamma combined with the vowels and the diphthongs. Here we have ga, ge, ge, gi, go, gu, go, guy, ge, goy. Here we have delta combined with the vowels and diphthongs. We have da, de, di, do, die, day, doi. Here we have a combination of zeta with the vowels and the diphthongs. We have za, ze, ze, zi, zo, zu, zo, zai, ze, zoi. The last one on the board is theta with the vowels and diphthongs. Here we have ta, te, te, ti, to, tu, to, tai, te, toi. So what you need to do is to finish the rest of the consonants combined with the vowels and the diphthongs and practice on your own and make sure that you master them very well and you are able to pronounce them, because when you master this, it will lead to the production of Greek words, or it will lead to the ability to produce Greek words. On this note, we come to the end of chapter 2. We come to chapter 3. I will begin with syllabication. Syllabication is the unit division of words into sounds. It is the breaking of words into unit sounds. These sounds are called syllables. They are called syllables. A syllable is a unit sound which is usually made up of a vowel or a diphthong with or without one or more consonants. A syllable can be a vowel alone, or a diphthong alone, or a vowel and one consonant, or more consonants. But a consonant alone cannot make up a syllable. In Greek, each syllable must have one and only one vowel sound or diphthong. A diphthong is usually considered a vowel sound. The rule of syllable division in Greek is that the division should be made immediately after a vowel or diphthong, after a vowel or after a diphthong. That is the rule of syllable division in Greek. We have 3 words on the board, and we're going to apply these rules to these 3 words. The first one has consonant as the first letter, and then upsilon is as the vowel, the first vowel. And because the rule says that the division should be made immediately after a vowel or diphthong, then we make the first division. So we have lambda and upsilon, which is pronounced as lu, lu. In other words, this syllable is lu, lu, lu. Then we come to the the next letter. The next letter we have is omicron, omicron. The rule says immediately after a vowel, the marcation should be made, the diphthong should be made. So a vowel alone can be a syllable. So we now have all as a syllable. We have the first syllable, lu, lu, Then the next letter is mu. And after it we have a vowel, epsilon. Then because nu cannot stay alone, then it will join this syllable. And we have men, lu, men, lu, men. 3 syllables in the first word that we consider. And you see that we make the syllable division after the first vowel, upsilon, the second vowel, omicron, lu, men. 3 syllables, 3 sounds and 3 syllables. The second word, we have gamma, and iota. Iota is a vowel we draw the division mark. Then we have G, G. Then we go to the next letter, which is nu. Then the next letter that follow it is omega, a vowel. We draw it again. No. So we have two syllables already. G, no. Then the last syllable, we have sigma, kappa, and omega. Scope. So we have G, no, scope. 3 syllables. The last word here is diphthong. We take the first consonant. We take the next letter is alpha. The next letter after alpha is iota. Now, alpha and iota form a diphthong. So we draw the line after a diphthong. So we have di, di. Then after that we have mu, followed by omicron, which is a vowel. Then we draw the line again. Mo, di, mo. The next letter is nu, followed by iota, a vowel. We draw the line again. Di, mo, ni. Then we take the next word, the next letter, which is omicron. And the last letter is nu, which joins the omicron. We now have on. So in this word we have 3 syllables. Di, mo, ni, on. So if you look at these 3 words now, you see that we draw the demarcation line immediately after the vowel. But exceptions arise. We have exceptions to this rule. Exceptions arise when there are 2 consecutive consonants or even 3 consonants in the middle of a word. In these cases, if the combination of the consonant is not one that can appear at the beginning of a syllable, they are usually divided. The first consonant closes the first syllable, while the second consonant begins the second syllable. We have 3 examples on this. The first one is lambano. In lambano, we have 2 consonants that appear consecutively in the middle of the word. So these 2 cannot start the next syllable. So these 2 consonants will be divided. The first one will go with the first syllable. The second one will go with the next syllable. So we have lam, lam in the first syllable. In the second syllable, the second consonant go with the second syllable. Lam, ba. Immediately after the consonant now, the vowel, we draw the demarcation line. Lam, ba. Then the next letter is nu, followed by omega. No, we have lam, ba, no. So the 2 consonants here that appear consecutively at the middle of the word is slashed in syllabification. So here we have 3 syllables. Lam, ba, no. The second word here, under the examples, we have 3 consonants appearing consecutively in the middle. Nu, theta, and rho. So we have to slash them. The first one goes with the first syllable. And. Then we'll come to the next 2. Theta and rho can go together. So as a result of that, we join them together. Then after the vowel omega, you draw the line again. And, true, and, true. Then we'll come to the last syllable. Pi, omicron, and sigma. And, true, pause. And, true, pause. 3 syllables. The last example here we also have 3 consonants appearing consecutively in the middle of the word. So they must be slashed. Well, the first one will go with the first syllable. Ek, ek, ek. Theta and rho can go together. Then we now have the vowel omicron and the last letter sigma. Ek, trust, ek, trust. Chi goes with epsilon, while theta and rho goes with the last syllable. So we have 2 syllables. Ek, trust, ek, trust. Word pronunciation. The mastery of syllable division in Greek leads to word pronunciation. In other words, it enhances pronunciation of Greek words fluently. Rules for Greek pronunciation. We have a number of rules that will help one to be able to pronounce Greek word fluently. Number 1, count the number of vowels in the word. The number of vowels in the word. Let's begin to apply it to this word. Count the number of vowels. Here we have epsilon, alpha, epsilon, alpha, epsilon again, upsilon, then omega. We have 5 vowels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The second rule says, identify a pair of diphthongs where there are 2 or more vowels in succession. We look at the word. We have a pair of diphthongs where we have 2 or more vowels in succession. Here we have 3 vowels in succession. Epsilon, upsilon, and omega. Now we now discover that epsilon and upsilon is a diphthong. That's how to identify it. So here we have epsilon and upsilon as a diphthong. Number 3 says count each diphthong as 1 vowel sound and the other vowels. Then count the total number of vowel sounds. The total number of vowel sounds is the number of the syllables in the word. Then we have this diphthong as 1, this vowel as 2, 3, 4. That means we have 4 vowels because this diphthong is considered as a vowel sound. 1, 2, 3, 4. We go to the next rule. Next rule says divide the word into syllables. Pronounce the syllables syllable by syllable. And do not forget the consonants. In other words, we have to keep the consonants with the vowels. Alright, in the consonant we have the first consonant, theta, then the first vowel, we make the demarcation. Te, te. Then the second consonant, which is rho, we supply its vowel, we make the demarcation. Te, ra, te, ra. So we are coming to syllable division here again. The word pronunciation. Then we come to the next consonant with the diphthong. We have terra, piu, terra, piu. Then we make the demarcation. And the last vowel can stand as a syllable. We now have the syllables. Terra, piu, o. Because in number 4, we are asked to pronounce the syllable by syllable. Terra, piu, o. Come to the last one. Pronounce the syllables together as a word. Terapeu, Terapiwo. You are now pronouncing the whole syllable together as a word. Then, when you keep on practicing this, it will help you to master the pronunciation of Greek words. So, go ahead to practice on your own in order to be able to pronounce Greek words. We go to the next thing, breathing mark. Breathing mark. What is a breathing mark? Breathing mark is a sign placed on initial vowel or diphthong of a word in Greek. Initial vowel, that means the first vowel in a word, or diphthong. So every Greek word that begins with a vowel or a diphthong must take breathing mark. It's a must. It's part of the language, or the breathing mark is part of that word. We have some examples on the board. The breathing mark can be on the first letter, the first vowel letter. Here we have alpha as the first vowel letter in this word, and as a result of that, the breathing mark is on top. This breathing mark is part of this word. It's part of the word. If it's not there, the word is not complete. Then the breathing mark can be on a diphthong. So if the breathing mark is on a diphthong, then it will be on the high vowel, the second letter of the diphthong. It will not be on the first one. It will usually be on the second one, always on the high vowel when it's a diphthong. Then the breathing mark can be by the side of a vowel, if that vowel is a capital letter. If the vowel that begins a word is a capital letter, the breathing mark will not be on the top, it will be by the side. Types of breathing mark. There are two types of breathing mark. The first one is rough breathing mark. Rough breathing mark is in form of C, but small in size, and is concave to the left. That means it's curved to the left. You see the sign now, it's curved to the left. We have some example here. In this example, is on the first vowel, the first letter that begins the word hamatia, and it is rough. Now, this rough breathing mark has the sign of H in pronunciation. If you want to pronounce this word now, you must pronounce this breathing mark as H. So in this word now is hamartia, hamartia, hamartia. You have to pronounce it, breathing mark. Then when you are changing these Greek letters to English letter, that breathing mark has H representation. And that's what I showed here. The H in English here is referring to the breathing mark, the rough breathing mark here. And the rest of the letter here now we have alpha. This is alpha here in English. Then mu, N, alpha again, R, rho. We have it here as R. Then tau as T. Then iota as I, and alpha again as R. The second example, we have the rough breathing on the I vowel, because this is a diphthong. Then in changing this word to English letters, changing the Greek letters to English letters, we have the H to be the first one. Then the rest of the letters in English. This is very, very important for us to take notes of. The second type of breathing mark is called smooth breathing mark. Smooth breathing mark is concave to the right. The curve is to the right and is placed too on some Greek words. Here we have the first example is placed on the first letter, which is a vowel, alpha, in the word called anthropos is there, but this rough breathing is not being pronounced. Smooth breathing rather, is not pronounced in Greek, but it must be there. It's part of the word. It must be there. If it's not there, this word is not complete. Why changing the Greek letters to English letters? No representation of the smooth breathing mark. And that's why there's no representation here. We begin the word from alpha. This is alpha, equivalent to A, nu, equivalent to N, then theta, TH in English, rho, R here, then omega, long O here, then we have pi, P, we have omicron, O, and we have sigma, S. In the second example, the smooth breathing mark is placed on upsilon, that is high vowel. Since this is a diphthong, it must be on the high vowel of the diphthong. No representation, and it's not pronounced, but it must be there in English. Take note of this. When rho as a letter, rho is a consonant, not vowel. When rho begins a word in Greek, it takes rough breathing mark. Anytime rho as a letter begins a word, it must take rough breathing mark. In Greek, we have example in this word. Rema, rema. Look at the rough breathing mark on top of rho. It must be there in Greek. Now we change this word to English letters. Then we have the rho first. Then we bring the H in front of the rho before we put the long E, which is eta here. And then the mu, equivalent to English M, then the alpha, then equivalent to English R. Therefore, you must put this at the back of your mind, that any word that begins with rho in Greek must necessarily take rough breathing mark. Transliteration and translation. These two words are not the same. Transliteration involves writing the alphabets, characters of a language in alphabet characters of another language. It involves representing the alphabet letters of a language with alphabet letters of another language. That is transliteration. On the other hand, translation deals with meaning. It denotes given the meaning of a word, phrase, clause, or sentence of a particular language in another language. It involves meaning equivalent of one language in another. And we have the examples for these two words. The first one we're going to take is translation. Translation, which deals with meaning. Here we have the Greek word anthropos. Anthropos. The English meaning of anthropos is man. So when the Greek people use anthropos, they are referring to man. So in English, it means man. The second example is curious. Curious. Curious means Lord or master. The last one is huios. Huios is the Greek word that means son in English. So when Greek people want to address a son, it's called huios. And the meaning in English is son. This will take us to the second one, transliteration. Transliteration does not deal with meaning, but the representation of alphabet character of one language in another language. These are Greek characters now, forming these words. We're going to look at them one after the other. Here we have the first letter as alpha, and it's equivalent to English R. The second one is nu, it's equivalent to English N. Then the next one is theta, which is equivalent to English TH. The next one is rho, equivalent to English R. The next one is omega, and it's long O in our English. The next one is pi, which is P in English. The next one is omicron, which is O. And the last one is sigma, which is S. So we change the Greek alphabet characters to English alphabet characters. This is what we call transliteration. The second word, we have kappa, which is K, equivalent to our English K. We have upsilon, it's equivalent to our English U. We have rho, equivalent to our English R. Iota, equivalent to our English R. Omicron, short O in English. Sigma, S. The last one, we have the rough breathing on the diphthong. So the rough breathing will come first as H. We use the H to represent the rough breathing in English. Then the next letter is upsilon, which is equivalent to our English U. Then iota is equivalent to our English I. Omicron, English O, short O, and sigma, English S. So this is what we call transliteration in Greek. We'll come to the end of the first volume. In this textbook, New Testament Greek Made Easy, we just covered 3 chapters, the first 3 chapters. And these first 3 chapters deal with phonetics. In the next volume, that second volume, we shall begin to deal with Greek grammar, and we shall deal with parts of speech, nouns, verbs, adjectives, pronouns, prepositions, conjunctions, and adverb. Therefore, look forward for the second volume.